This video contains gratuitous use of profanity and uncomfortable pauses to compensate for lack of professionalism and original thought. Viewer discretion advised.
Coming to you live from beyond the hedges, we are the Nerdy Manroom show, and we have a special guest this week. We got the super talented Big Rob of Big Rob's House of Entertainment and No Chinese Food. And with Monster Rob, we got a major cool episode this week. It's been a few weeks. It's day one of college game of the week for the defending champions, Georgia Bulldogs. So hey, I'm excited.
You were the only one out of the three of us that knew that.
I know. Go Dogs. We're gonna three-peat this year. Just so you know, it was said here first.
But as you did say, we do have a special episode this week. We're gonna do for lack of a better term, a Super Geek Week. We're gonna discuss a lot of random geekery, any events, news. There's been a lot going on, and we haven't had a chance to record because I've had a very hectic schedule lately. So we figured we would go through some of that. Yeah, they keep us busy. The swamp is not the time. You don't want to be in the swamp this time of year, so you got to get out and travel around. But we do have another big announcement at the end of the show, so stick around for that. But before we get too far into our Super Geek Week, we said last time we were going to have another announcement. So let's start with an announcement, and we'll end with a special announcement this week. But we have joined up with Geek Network. It's going to continue to bring you the same great show, but now with new added flavor. Geek Network is a large network of different social platforms, or I shouldn't say platforms, but different social media presenters like we are, such as Chris Daly from Fueled by Weird podcast and a few others. Too many to try and name, so I'm not even going to try and name them, but we're joining up with them. They've got a wide breadth of resources and connections that we'll be able to draw from to bring on more great content that you enjoy, such as more interviews, more reviews, more special guest stars. And speaking of that, check out, I'm going to put a graphic somewhere in here. I don't know exactly where because I don't know where my box is sitting in the whole recording right now, but you'll see a graphic here. Pause on this. Check it out. If you're interested in joining the Geek Network and doing interviews, reviews, if you have your own show, if you want to just join up and do some reviews of books, check out this graphic. Pause. Go join up. Go reach out to Geek Network. Come back and you can finish up the show after that. But stay tuned here. There's going to be more to come as we work with the team there. Check out their social media for all their other reviews and all their other family members. And with that, I'm going to quit babbling through that because I got tongue-tied so bad there.
I'll be honest, the way we're all positioned on my screen, I just want to go, "Scissor me, daddy-o!" See if somebody...
I don't know where we're at because it moves by the time we're done recording. It's liable to be one of us will be in a big box and the other two.
I got the Vogue box right now on mine. I'm in the big box, so
I'm in the little box. So
hey, is what she said.
Oh, so Hassel, with that, let's go straight to our big Super Geek Week, and I'm gonna let you start us off because I've been so busy I haven't had a chance to do much. And actually, Rob, if there's anything you want to start with, because it's been a while since you've been here, we'll give you the chance to go first. If not, we'll let Hassel jump in.
I appreciate getting a chance to come back and crash you guys' show. It's always a pleasure to bring down the quality of the show by about 10 or 15 points. So, I'm definitely happy about that. I haven't had a huge amount of stuff that I've personally done, but I did have a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. As everybody knows, I am the Star Wars nerd, and we've had 3 episodes of the Ahsoka show. Dudes, I don't know. I've seen good and bad online, but for me, that show has been absolutely Star Wars love. I have loved every second of everything that's been on there, the 3 episodes. The casting has been dead on. I mean, we already seen Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Hera, Natasha Bordizzo as Sabine. David Tennant is Huang. I mean, there's some really great stuff.
I mean, anytime you get the 10th Doctor, I mean,
I've only seen the first two so far. I haven't seen the third one because the kid is with his mom doing some family stuff with her and some of her relatives. So we haven't watched the third one yet. I'm waiting on him. But the first two were very good. There was points where it got really slow, like right in the middle of the first couple episodes. But all the action was straight Star Wars stuff. I like how it started with the scrolling screen and it was red this time instead of yellow, and it was on a flat background instead of scrolling off at an angle, which was kind of different. So it shows you this new era, I guess.
I haven't seen any yet. I was actually this is my 4-day weekend, and that was one of the things I planned on doing during my 4-day weekend was catching up, because I actually thought, I know they released 2, but I thought they released another 2 for some reason. I was like, shit, I got to set a portion of the day aside. But yeah, I've got to watch. One of the things I want to ask, I said I haven't seen any of it yet. So, and I know you guys are spoiler-free guys. So I will say that the vibe I'm picking up off what I do see online, it's not so much did you watch the Clone Wars, but did you watch Rebels?
Yeah.
Like is it a deal where you're going to be lost on some things if you didn't watch Rebels? Because I didn't watch Rebels. I watched Clone Wars. But Rebels was kind of one of those, like, it just seemed like too many spinoffs to me at the time.
If you
so I didn't delve into it.
Rob, I'll let you answer that first because I think I got a thought on that. But you go ahead first.
So, in my opinion, if you watched Rebels, you will be so much more immersed in the story. Yes. If you didn't watch Rebels, you're not going to be lost, but you might have to pay more attention to the backstory. I mean, because they like, I don't really think this is a spoiler because you kind of get that from even the previews. But the biggest part of it is the search for Grand Admiral Thrawn and Ezra Bridger. Well, if you watched Rebels, you know what happened to them. If you didn't watch Rebels, you don't necessarily know what happened to them. But they kind of explain it in the first couple of episodes. They don't give a great deal of time to backstory, but you get the picture, so you're not going to be lost. I think you have your appreciation if you've seen Rebels, but if not, it's okay.
So for those of us that hasn't seen Rebels, what happened to Thrawn and Ezra?
But before you answer that one, Rob, I'm going to piggyback on what you said because I thought the same thing. I thought that it was you would like it more if you've seen Rebels, just because and then maybe not like it, but be more immersed in it because you'll understand the backstory. If you haven't seen
You're
Rebels,
more invested.
If you haven't seen Rebels, you can get the backstory of what happens in the last season or so of Rebels in like 10 minutes if you go find it online somewhere, and you'll understand exactly what's going on. My only problem was when they were trying to set the backstory up, instead of just kind of giving you a brief overview of the backstory, they drug it out into a lot of slow scenes in the first couple episodes where some of the characters were just like so sad and mourning the fact that Ezra's gone and missing, and the Thrawn might be coming back, but they don't really give you as much story of what happened to lead to that. It's more like they're just reflecting on it, and that's where it gets kind of slow for me. But beyond that, yeah, I think you'll like it better if you've seen that, but you don't have to watch it by any means. They give you enough exposition that you'll understand it. It's just how deep in the story do you want to go?
I think it's just personal thought. I think probably the further into the show we go, the more you'll get on what happened. But just for those that didn't watch it, you know what the Purgils are, the space whales. You see them in Grogu's seen them in The Mandalorian when they were flying through hyperspace. The space whales.
Mm-hmm.
Not okay. All right. So in Rebels, the last part of it, the Grand Admiral Thrawn was on his ship, the Chimera, his Star Destroyer, and the Purgils pulled him into hyperspace, and Ezra was aboard the ship. So he disappeared. At the end of the Rebels, he's just gone. He got pulled into hyperspace. His whole ship and Ezra too.
And Ezra's on the ship with Thrawn.
Ezra was the cause of that, right? Like he had a connection through the Force to the Purgils, and actually, that was his way of helping stop Thrawn. Because whatever he was, I don't remember what he was about to do at the last of that episode of Rebels, but it would have, pretty detrimentally hurt the rebellion. So no lightsaber or anything. He's on there with him, and he uses his abilities to reach out to the Purgles, and they drag him through hyperspace. And it's hinted at, without giving away too many spoilers, it's hinted at that they're not even in the same galaxy anymore, which is one of the things you've never really seen in Star Wars. And the canon stuff, right? The extended universe, maybe, like the Yuuzhan Vong came from a different galaxy and stuff. But
they're trapped together.
Unless I'm wrong, right? Is that right, Rob?
But originally, the Vong were said to be from a different galaxy. But then later on in the last few books, I guess it kind of came out that they were not, that they were outcasts, but they were actually from this galaxy. So, yeah, this is, okay, minor spoiler. They are believed to be in another galaxy. And yeah, this is the first time in Star Wars, it really canon or non-canon, that you've gone outside of that galaxy far, far away.
So if they're in a galaxy far, far away, they might actually be in our galaxy now.
Man, wouldn't that be cool?
Just saying.
Quite possibly. And there's different rumors and stuff online I've seen where they're saying that, hey, the Force may not work the same in this new galaxy and stuff.
I was wondering what the fuck that was. Oh, Big Rob, I thought he had one of those like microphone deals. I was like, okay.
He had a visitor. Now, there's rumors that, before I get sidetracked, there's rumors that in the new galaxy that they're in, that maybe the Force doesn't work the same way, and it might introduce some other stuff, like maybe they'll explain how the Night Sisters have like magical powers and stuff that aren't Force related, but they're similar.
Maybe that's what the problem is. I'm in this galaxy where I'm supposed to be Force sensitive, but it doesn't fucking work the same here.
I think you're supposed to be in the galaxy that's below the border, and you just made it across.
Wait, Hassel, I've known you for many, many years. One word that we can never use to describe you: sensitive.
This is true. This is very true.
Oh, I will say that the show has been good. It's worth a watch. You got to get through the first couple because they're kind of slow. I haven't seen the third yet, but there's just some slow parts in the first couple that made it feel like they probably could have cut some of that down, and the first 2 episodes could have been one longer episode maybe, and it worked out better.
Gotcha.
I will defer to Monster on that, because I was just so in love with Star Wars and with Sabine and Ahsoka anyway, that I thought it was pretty good pacing and timing for me. So I will defer to Monster on that it could have been cut down. I'm enamored with Star Wars, so.
Well, I think you got a 56 or 57 minute first episode and another 50-minute second one. Like, it could have probably been an hour and a half and still gave you the same amount of stuff. That was just my opinion. But now I will say it's kind of cool too, though, to see that somebody was pulling some strings in the background for Mary Elizabeth Winstead to be Hera, because Obi-Wan, she's married to him. It's like, oh, I can get you a job in Star Wars. I want to be in Star Wars. I can get you a job in Star Wars. I'll just make a phone call.
Yeah.
Hey, but she nails it though. She nails it.
She does do a very good job.
That's my thing on Ahsoka. The only other thing that I really had, and this is Star Wars, but also further out, Disney has actually announced that they're going to release some physical media. WandaVision, Loki season 1, and season 1 and 2 of Mandalorian are all coming to Blu-ray and 4K this year. And I am pretty stoked about that, because, we love some physical media here in the land that the internet goes down occasionally. So I think Loki's supposed to hit this month, WandaVision in November, and The Mandalorian, both those seasons are supposed to hit in December.
How much of that do you think is predicated on the fact, too, that everything from a Disney Plus slate and all the movies except for the Marvels has been pushed back because of the writer and actor strike? Like, even X-Men 97 is now not slated until 2024.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's probably why John Cena's back in the WWE for months, he says.
Yeah, because they can't do anything else. I mean, with the strike going on, they can't record. They can't record any voice acting. They can't record anything. Even if you can make your show because it was done before the strike started. Well, without the actors, you can't. But before the writer's strike, you could. even if it was already written, you could still shoot it before the actors went off strike too. But they couldn't ad lib any lines. It had to be word for word what the line was, or you violate the contract and the part of the strike.
But
So,
what are they actually striking for? I mean, I'm not.
For pay. So
Well, these poor bastards aren't paid enough. Millions.
Okay, let's take a step. So the writers, I understand.
Come work with me for about a year.
Well, the writers actually, my understanding with the writers, I can kind of understand theirs because they are actually, some of them actually have posted their salaries and they made less than what minimum wage would have been for their work. Because if you're not a major producer and you're doing the writing, you're not getting paid. You get paid pennies on the show and you get no royalties with the streaming services. So in the past, if you were a writer and say you wrote for Seinfeld, every time that Seinfeld episode aired, you got paid a royalty check. When it goes to streaming, you don't get paid a royalty check every time somebody watches it because you wrote it one time and it's now owned by the streaming company.
Well, see, that was one of the things we had discussed a few episodes back, I believe, where we were talking about streaming hurting. I mean, it benefits the company, but at the same time, it hurts those type agreements, I suppose.
Yes, and for actors, yeah, okay, if you're a Rosario Dawson, just for an example, she's going to get paid hundreds of thousands, if not millions, for her role, or Dwayne Johnson, they're going to get paid millions, right? Their royalty checks may not be as much because they don't sell as many DVD copies and stuff anymore. They're not airing on TV, and they're not getting royalty checks from that.
They're getting lump sum versus continued annuity.
Yeah, but they're making so much it doesn't matter. But what I think it is it's more all the smaller part actors, the co-stars that may come in there, the day people that show up and get paid just a handful of dollars to do what they do. A couple of them talked about only getting $20,000 to $30,000 a year for their roles because they have to fight for those roles to get them, and they don't have much screen time. So the royalty checks was just a nice little bump for them in between to be able to go, okay, I'm gonna go waitress for a few months till I get another role, or be a dishwasher or whatever, but I'm still getting that royalty check. And now some of them have actually posted pictures of their royalty checks and they don't even make a single dollar from it, from the royalties. So it's the people like that I can see suffering from it. But some of these other ones, if you're, we were making fun of you and McGregor a minute ago. It's not like he's coming home making a royalty check that's like $50. He's going to have hundreds of thousands just for the role, right? So there's a difference there. I did see a visual effects person saying, well, all these guys are getting to go on strike, and I'm over here making visual effects for all these movies, and I made $28,000 last year. So nobody's, I don't have a union. Nobody's standing up for me. So
I saw the Marvel visual effects guys was talking.
Yeah, that's the one. He's like, nobody's saying anything about us. It's just they're just worried about them. So if you're going to do this for them, you need to do it for everybody. But at the same time, you think about this from a business perspective, because I have to, because I'm in that type of situation from a business perspective, to think about it from a business leader. It's like, okay, yes, we could probably pay you a little bit more, but then we can't pay you probably what they're asking to be paid.
It's no longer profitable if you do that. I mean,
I get making a profit. You ain't in business. That's the whole point of a business. Now, for Bob Iger to be at his compound with his entire senior leadership staff and talking about, they'll never get what they want because it's not unfathomable for us. Okay, you shouldn't have said that. I don't make quite that much. I can come out and say that, but you shouldn't have said it because you're making millions.
Well, let's be honest. It's not going to hurt anyone but the fans, because two things. One, now we've got to wait X amount of time for this shit to actually start hitting again. There's a huge lull in between. And two, who do you think the cost of this shit's going to really be passed down to? The fans. The cost of streaming services are going to go up. The cost of going to the movies are going to go up. DVDs will go up. I mean, they're going to pass this price down to someone. And it's poor bastards like us, the fanboys that, love this shit. So at some point, that's going to hurt. We'll trickle back to them, because then people are going to be a little more selective on what they do.
Every streaming service in the past month has raised, everyone except for Netflix has raised their cost by at least $1. But Netflix has already done that prior. It was the only reason they didn't. And they've also done that whole, you can't share outside your household, or you got to pay an extra $8 a month for that, which I have to pay so my son can watch it at his mother's house. So
I'm assuming my ex-wife pays, because we still leech off hers.
But Disney is going to that model now too. Disney's already announced that before the end of the year, they will have that same model that Netflix has, because they saw that everybody's like, oh, they can't do that because everybody's just going to stop going to it. Netflix membership actually increased because all those people who were leeching off others had to buy their own at that point. So Disney said, we'll follow suit. So now it's just going to be even more costly for everybody to have these streaming channels.
Yep.
So that's the only way they're going to pay that money, but they're still not making quite enough to do that, to meet the demands of what they're being asked for. And the rise of AI is probably what started a lot of this, right? Because you can say, okay, from an AI perspective, I can just digitally create an entire background crowd from like 2 people. I don't even have to hire all these others. There's a lot involved in
When
it.
Skynet truly takes over.
It's because of the entertainment industry. They started this shit. Apparently, they didn't listen to one of their own creators. James Cameron, you need to go ask him.
He told
you
them.
guys going to pay attention? But anyway, that's a long way to get around to that. But there's a lot of information. I haven't read much on it. The only thing I looked at is like, how long is this going to last? Because it's starting to impact my fall TV viewership that I want to watch stuff. So I'm rewatching a bunch of old shows now.
Thankfully, we're entering into the, for me, thankfully, we're entering into the NFL season. College football's kicking off. We're about to be into Major League Baseball playoffs pretty soon in another month. And then the World Series. So sports-wise, I'm good.
I've always been curious what the sports announcers and stuff. I don't think they belong to any of the unions, but like, what if they did? Because that would
under any of that.
Yeah, so say if it did, then what you gonna do? Just watch it in silence? Do your own commentary?
Hey, your boy is available. You may not get PG-13, but your boy is available. Just saying, guys. Go Dogs.
Yeah, I did though. Before we move to the next topic, I did look at their strike, and it said it's probably at least another 4, if not 6 months of this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was based on the last talks they had a couple weeks ago. I don't know what's changed since then, if anything has. But, Big Rob, anything else in your Geek Week? So we took it over with talk about
We've hijacked him.
No. It was a pretty good segue, I thought, but now that was pretty much it for me. I'm just here for the ride now.
Well, we'll turn it over to you, Hassel. What's going on in your Geek Weekend? I know you said you had a lot of stuff you wanted to cover, so.
First of all, I want to tan the hide of UPS. And I mean,
I've heard this already, but this is funny.
That hide. So I've had a pretty good haul this last week. And as you people, our regulars know and may or not know, I've had a good struggle with our postal carriers, the UPS, the FedEx, all these good guys. So I'm sitting here yesterday morning. I took Friday off. Our plant's down on Monday. I took Friday off to kind of recharge my batteries because your boy needed a mental reset. So I'm sitting there in my chair yesterday morning, drinking my good old cup of coffee. And I hear this loud thud on my front porch. And I was expecting packages. I knew I was expecting packages. And I said, you better be shitting me. So my chair literally sits by the door. So I get up, open the door, and UPS, he's already all the way across the yard. And I see my package just sitting there, just barely under the rail. But this bastard threw it. And I look at him, I said, nice fucking throw. And he just throws his hands up. And I know this douchebag, because he also delivers to my fucking plant, and we get damaged product all the time. Like literally, we got a box of screws the other day. A box of screws is typically about 30 pounds. This box of screws maybe weighed 5 pounds. And had damage in the corner. I said, these screws aren't there. Sure enough, it's handful of screws. So I was like, I'm about a boiling point at this point, because literally just 2 weeks ago, I had a package from Big Bad Toy Store when I done the hibernation pod. You guys remember me talking about that? The bastard set it at the bottom of my steps, like literally on the first step. He could put one step further; it'd been under the overhang of my house. But not only did he set it on that step where it's not under the overhang, he set it up this way to where the lips that fold down are like this. It rained. It was fucking raining. So the water just goes in.
Jeez.
So I'm livid at this point yesterday. I'm like, no, fuck this shit, this douchebag. And I became a Karen. So I called UPS. I got this little Chinese woman that I didn't understand every third word she said. But she directed me to another person. She said, we'll pass this on. And I was like, this is going nowhere. Got the phone with her. About an hour later, I get a call from a local person. I can understand even her South Georgia accent. Go Dogs. And we go to talking, and she's typically a driver herself. Because she told me, she said, I've actually delivered your house many times. And I said, yeah, I'm sorry for that. Because we get a lot of fucking packages. I'm sorry. But she said, yeah, I know exactly where your house
I send
is.
a lot of them.
She's like, I've delivered a lot of your house. She said, your steps aren't hard to. I said, yeah, that's like 4 fucking steps. It's not, like you're not doing the Rocky, up the getting strong now, to the trophy at the top. And I was like, yeah. And she said, did you have to get it on video? I said, no, I wish. I said, I promise you, you'd be viral right now. Promise you. I said, but I did see the asshole, and I said, I did speak to him. And when I told her who it was, she said, yeah, I know which driver you're talking about. She said, we've had a lot of complaints on him. I said, well, fucking do something. I said, it's not like this poor bastard didn't get paid. Because I know what UPS drivers make. They make good money. And he's been with them for some time, so he's making really good money. She said, yeah. He's been here some time. Thanks some time. So he's always got tenure. And she was like, yeah, basically.
They're
So it was supposed to,
aren't they?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to go to his district manager above the supervisor's head. We'll see what happens. We'll see if my package dilemma gets better. But I did receive, fuck you, UPS. I did receive the WCW Hulk Hogan yesterday. He was foobarred all to hell and back. Luckily, I already had one, so I was going to plan on opening one of the two anyways. They didn't know that shit, but I was planning on whichever one was better conditioned, staying on the wall. Because the one on the wall isn't the greatest. It came from Target, and it was so-so when it got here. But this one was trash beyond repair, so he got opened up, and I put a little short out on our YouTube channel yesterday with the old American-made WCW Hogan. I got another. I got the Survivor Series 2-pack with the Gobbledygooker and the Undertaker. That was a really, really cool 2-pack. I was really excited about it. Other than the fact that you can't open those, well, you can open the box, obviously. But like when I got the New Gen Arena that's behind me, Diesel and Doink, the way the packaging is on the Ultimates, it just opens. So they weren't taped down. As you go, you just open it. If you want to pull them out, you can put them back. No harm, no foul. These were actually factory sealed with tape. So I did decide to leave them both there. We got a review on those, so go check it out. So I won't go too deep into that right there because I've already have. I got a Mr. Fix It In that was really impressed. I'll be honest, when I first seen this figure as the Walmart exclusive, he had the hat on. I was not sold, but I said, well, he's got a separate head, so I'll go in for him. And I did, and I almost felt like it was like just a reproduction of the Build-A-Figure they put out. Just was he a Build-A-Figure or yeah?
Yeah.
They put out just a little while back. Other than the fact that he didn't have that figure didn't have the pinstripe, which is a gray suit. This one does have the pinstripe, which is more iconic with Joe Fix-It. And I will say the figure looks great. Even with the fedora hat, it doesn't look bad. He put the Tommy gun in his hand. But I like him better without the hat. He's got the slick back, shaved sides. Very McFarlane-esque Joe Fix-It. Looks great, and scale-wise, it is amazing. They did a great job of that right there. What'd you say, Rob?
I said I need to get that figure. He does look pretty awesome.
Well, I set him next to some of the other legends because I actually got a first appearance Sabretooth that I actually got off of eBay. The only thing is it didn't come with the Build-A-Figure shit, which I didn't care. I got him like $12. I just wanted the figure and wanted him loose anyways. And that was 12 with shipping, because they went through DHL. So fuck UPS again. And I set him next to him. I put the Wolverine there, put Cyclops. So you kind of got a scale comparison there. I did do a little short on that. I'm not sure if I posted that picture. If I didn't, I will post that to our socials. Because it is really cool, especially like when you got Wolverine right in front of him. The difference in the two is like you really feel like this is the Hulk. So that was pretty cool to me. I got a Ultimate Shawn Michael that I got off of Amazon. I got it for like $16, free shipping. Anytime you get an Ultimate for $16, that's a win.
You know,
I
he
don't
was
go
on
in.
sale on that same one was on sale on Big Bad. That's where I figured you got it. It was on sale on Big Bad for $14.99 the other day.
Oh, well, you know what? I had to pay shipping there, so
Yeah,
it worked out. So
it evens out. I was just saying, I thought that's where you got it from when I saw the picture of it.
Yeah, no, I actually got that off Amazon because he was like a few dollars cheaper, well, I guess a few dollars more, but no shipping. But I don't go in for a lot of Shawn Michaels figures, and this is the infamous Montreal screw job attire. So yeah, fuck him. But anyways, I did think it is a cool figure. If you like old '90s Shawn Michaels pre screw job, and I actually enjoyed him somewhat pre screw job. Um, it's a cool figure. I hadn't really got to mess with him. I got him sitting here on a turntable. I hadn't really fucked with him much. I'll probably do something with him today. Play with my toys.
And just to clarify, when he was on sale on Big Bad, it was one of those daily sales they were doing. They put those flash daily ones. He was up there for one day, so not
You
like
know
he
what?
missed out by that.
Yeah, they do a good job of that. Anybody that doesn't kind of watch their side, I mean, sign up for your emails on that. It's one of the few things that I do check my emails on because they have some good deals. You can get like the Super Sevens on the Ultimate figures for about $34 a lot of times. Sometimes as low as 29. I think I got Casey Jones for $29. There's been a few. So the majority of the Super Sevens I have for the Ninja Turtle line is how I got.
Speaking of Super 7, before you go ahead and any of the rest of your stuff, did you see that they finally put out an announcement like 2 days ago? It says, hey, we're proud to announce we've partnered with Best Buy and you can get our products in Best Buy store. I was like, dude, your product's been in Best Buy for months because I've been sending pictures of it. When I see it, like, how did this get in here?
Yeah, they're a little behind their 8 ball, aren't they?
Yeah, on that particular piece, yeah, I didn't understand that, but yeah, I saw the announcement. I was like, I bought stuff from Best Buy from that. I actually got the Super Samurai Leonardo with Best Buy points and everything else. I paid like $28 for him. I was like, that was like 3 months ago.
Would that be like us announcing today, hey, we're proud to announce our new sponsor, Spotlight Media? We've been there. Sweet coffee for the working man.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah. No. That is interesting, honestly. That tells you what their own company is, dude. Matter of fact, they just kind of done an announcement for the Silverhawk, the metal Silverhawks. I'm like, I think I pre-ordered one of those 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and they just made a big deal out of it like yesterday, like it was an official announcement. I'm like,
the official sales for that went up the week after San Diego, because that's when they showed them off the first time.
Well, while we're on Super 7, because I don't have much more in my Geek Week anyways. Well, what about the deal with mask? So, do they have masks? Do they not have masks?
I don't know. They haven't said
why
anything.
Ace had to stop doing production in the style he was?
So I don't know. I think that was more of a Hasbro thing because he copied the box so closely. I think it was what some of that was. It was more the labeling and the like. He even used the whole same logo, just changed the name to Makina or something. And I'm speaking off of what I've read. So if I'm wrong, he can feel free to correct us, because I know sometimes he comes on here and stuff, and I would be glad to say I'm wrong. But I thought that's what it was. Maybe it was too close on the box packaging art and stuff. Because they actually were going to do a re-release of that, and they stopped. And now they're saying it, from what I saw on a Facebook thing of his the other day, he's coming back with another re-release of that, but they've had to completely change the box packaging and stuff. And maybe that's what it was.
I think some of the stickers on the actual vehicle had to be changed as well. From what
that
I
might
understood.
be. I'm not sure.
It's a version 2, so to speak, but unless you got the initial one, it won't be maskish. It'll be a little more third party.
But he is the one who actually said that he's been talking to, because I guess he and Brian actually, after all the Silverhawk stuff, they started talking again. Because the interview I saw with him was like, okay, because when he talked to us, he said the Super 7 had just quit talking to him about Silverhawks. It's like they just went radio silent.
Brian, they kind of had a little.
So it came back that he said finally they reached back out and said, hey, we haven't been able to talk to you because we were under, I don't know if it's legal action or just NDA, but they were dealing with the license on it because they thought they bought the license to all of Silverhawks. Come to find out, Warner Brothers still owns the license because they bought all the stuff that was owned by Lorimar. Yeah, okay. Or Lorimar Television that created it, right? Like they owned all of that. They said no, because and that started because Nacelle Company was going to make a new cartoon, and Super 7 was going to be like, the producer for that or whatever, because they owned the license. I was like, no, you can't do that because found out that Warner Brothers still owns all of it. Now, Warner Brothers did give them the license to continue making the toys, from what I understand, because there was thoughts that they might not even be able to do that. But they were like, yeah, we're fine with that because you do Thundercats already. So they're still able to make toys, but now the rumor is that they got the license to make mass toys. And I think Ace is the same one who said that. It's like I guess after he started talking to Brian again from Super 7 and saying they explained to him why they couldn't continue working with them and put their labeling on the box. They're like, you got to take our labels off because we don't own it, which is the whole reason they stopped talking to him in the first place. Ace let slip on one of his live streams that, yeah, and Mask and Super 7's doing Mask, so there's a chance for us to talk more about getting into that license because now it's out there and being used. And it's like, then all of a sudden in the middle of the day, he's like, I don't know if I should have said that. So if I shouldn't have said that, I apologize. But I said that already, so it's already out there. He couldn't take it back at that point. It was already out in the ether. But if they do own the license, I'm not sure what. It'd be interesting to see what they're going to. I could see them getting it because Hasbro owns the license, right? But they can get licensed to create toys for Super 7. Super 7's team with them on a lot of stuff. They do Transformers, Ultimates, they do and Reactions, they do G.I. Joe, Ultimates, Reactions, Power Rangers. So I can see them getting that with them. But my curiosity is, what are you going to make from it? Because if you make an Ultimate line, you're not making vehicles for that.
No, you're just making a figure in the helmet, maybe a few accessories.
At that point, you'd have to make them in the reaction size. But if you're not going to make them articulated, then I'm not necessarily in for it because I'm like, even back then, those little ones had more articulation than what the reactions do.
Yeah, they actually had knee joints that bent. I mean, at least neck swivel, good things like this. I will say I like Ace, and I really think that Brahma puts out a great product. I do think his philosophy is a little more produce and then ask forgiveness than permission.
Yeah, and I will say that I went in while we're on Ramen and on Super 7. The day that they posted that Brave Star, I ordered them first thing that morning before I got up and I saw the post as I was getting up, just trying to wake up and get out of bed. And I saw the post and I was like, I hadn't even made it to the restroom to brush my teeth stuff. I'd already ordered the Brave Star because I was like, it's not even that Brave Star is one of my favorites. I like Brave Star. He's not I'm going to choose Transformers, He-Man, G.I. Joe over Brave Star any day of the week just because I like them better. And I grew up on them more, but I did enjoy Brave Star, but there's nobody making any Brave Star toys. I was like,
no.
I need something to represent that in my collection. So I jumped on it straight away and ordered it.
The Marshall will probably be the only representation we get of Brave Star anytime soon. And I will say, the figure looks amazing because I'm vaguely familiar with Brave Star. I remember seeing a few episodes as a kid. I enjoyed it. Him and the horse was really cool. I don't remember much beyond that, honestly. Like I said, I've probably seen a handful of episodes when we still lived in Florida at the time. In Jacksonville, you got a lot more cartoons, on the network. So I was able to watch it when we lived there. But then when we moved back to Georgia, it wasn't really very prevalent around here.
No, so it was one of those that would come on those Super Saturdays or Super Sundays where they would try to put something that was already out, and then they would put like a premiere episode of something to see if they could gain interest, and that's what would tell them if they're going to go to network and create them. Like Inhumanoids started that way. The first episode of Inhumanoids was on one of those, and it's like, okay, as that episode aired, it's like, okay, we got enough response. Now we make a full run of the show for a full season. So after 5 episodes on there, they made 8 more, and that was the 13 episodes of that show because it tanked.
That was like one of the great things when we lived in Jacksonville, Florida for that short spell there. Like afternoons coming home from school, like cartoons would stay on till like 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
And like you had everything. You had, Galaxy Rangers, you had Brave Star, you had Dick Tracy, there was Ninja Turtles, He-Man, G.I. Joe, Transformers. I mean, just all the big, Mask, all of that stuff was on every evening. It was like just, they would plug me in front of that and just forget I existed. So.
Yeah, but back to the toy manufacturer. Yeah, we may try and get Ace on here again sometime in the near future. I'd like to talk to him more about the Brave Star because I was hoping to go to PowerCon and actually see it and catch up with him there, but work had me traveling that week, so I just couldn't make it. But I did order that one immediately. But I wanted to touch on too, since you brought up the Super 7. Have you seen the Cat's Lair? So it made the funding goal for the early bird, and the early bird was the funding goal. It hasn't moved since then. It's still at 3,300 people. I was like, that's where you ended up at weeks ago. And it's a great looking product and stuff, and I've seen pictures of it. It looks amazing, but was it too much, too big, too costly at the wrong time?
For me as a collector, it was because I got the Thunder Tank sitting in my floor right here. I've been trying my best to find some way to display this thing other than just sitting on the floor in front of the shelf of my Thundercats. I want to, just properly display it, But the Thunder, when you see it in scale next to the Cat's lair, it's like, holy shit. Not only is it massive, like, where do you put this? It would take up a giant portion of any man cave. And on top of that, the price, I mean, it was like, it's up there. So
I don't think they're going to reach the tier goals on that. Just looking, because it's 15 days left, and they haven't moved off 3,300, and the tier goals are like 4,000 and 6,000. So maybe they make the first one. I don't know if they make the second one.
Well, I could get surprised. That key. That's about all they're going to get, I think, is the key that was the initial early bird.
Yes. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting because I saw yesterday they were promoting it and putting a lot of pictures and promotions. That was like, join us. And I'm like, no. and the price is too much for me because, I get why it's so much because it's big, but at the same time, I have nowhere to put it. But the price is
about $700, wasn't it?
$650, and then I think there was more for the shipment and all. I'm like, dude, that's a car payment, a house payment,
it's a mortgage payment. I mean,
yeah,
you're getting on up there at that point, man. Don't get me wrong. People will go in on a $500 HasLab or whatever, $300 to $500. That's, and even that is kind of like, as a collector, you gotta say, holy shit. Do you realize what kind of key issue you could probably get that's graded of most any comic book for less than that?
Well,
with the exception of like the very, very early 60s stuff in good condition.
And it depends on what it is and when it comes out, right? Like last year when we saw all the HasLabs fail because they were all back to back. And it's like everybody chose one or the other, and that was it. But you didn't get everything passed. And then, you just had a G.I. Joe HasLab. So if you're a fan of G.I. Joe, you bought that. And then a few weeks later, hey, here's this Cat's lair. So I can't afford both.
The timing is not good.
First of all, I'm going to take the one that I'm more interested in. And secondly, I'm going to take the one that's probably cheaper at that point. If I got to debate, that becomes part of the debate. Which one do I go for?
The other thing that I think that really probably hurt Super 7 at this point is their credibility with the collector at the moment isn't the best. I mean, how much shit have you pre-ordered? I know I have. And we still haven't got, and every time you look, it's constantly being pushed out 6 months. Like, just boom, boom. But literally, I looked at what my pre-orders were on Big Bad Toy Store the other day, because every now and then I go back and look. Okay, what I got coming up, so I can kind of budget and look and say, I can expect this to hit here. And then when you see a string of Super 7 shit, and it's like, I can push that shit out 6 months. But what's going to fuck you is in 6 months, when that's pushed out, you're getting what was supposed to be 2 or 3 quarters worth of stuff all in 1 month.
Yeah,
that fucked me 2 years in a row that way.
That is hard. That's why I like some of the different stores. But I mean, as much as I like Big Bad, there's a few others I'll go to and buy from because you can pay when you want to.
Mm.
Like a lot, honestly, a lot of Transformers I'll do will be from the Chosen Prime because you can go in and pay on them when you're ready. Like I ordered one the other day and I had a $10 gift certificate anyway, but it ended up being okay. The rest of it's like $40. I just went ahead and paid it then. It doesn't come out for another couple of months, but I don't have to worry about it when it comes out because I got the extra cash right now. I'll pay for it. And I'm done with it. I just wait for it to arrive.
That would be more suitable.
Yeah, I did look at their pre-order list though, because all I've got left right now is the last two, the Thundercats, the 2 kittens, and then the Silverhawks. And I think all that stuff is pushed to next year. I think the only thing that was, because the Silverhawks were supposed to be September, October of this year, and that got pushed to next year till like March. The third wave of them, and then the Thundercats. I think one of those was supposed to be in December, but I don't think I see any of those anymore in December. I think they're all next year.
Yeah, I think the only thing I got left Silverhawk wise is because I had a lot of shit and I canceled some of it. I got Stargazer because I always liked him. He's essential to the line. If they do a copper kit, I will go in for that, and I did go in for the Quicksilver with the metal look, but I know that's next year. So
yeah, I got the Hot Wing and Stargazer.
I had Hot Wing and I had what was the green one?
The green bad guy.
No, is it one of the Green Hawks?
They haven't put out any of the other Hawks yet.
I thought the green one had got a release. I know I went in for Hot Wing, but I canceled him. I thought
Hot Wing and Stargazer are in Wave 3 and Wave 4 is the repaints to look like the toys.
Okay, well, maybe I'm mistaken then.
Yeah,
okay.
You're thinking about Flashback if you're thinking about the green.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, he's not out yet.
Okay. Well, the only other thing I had beyond that right here was just a little wrestling news. Unfortunately, we had the passing of Terry Funk. Like I've heard a lot of people say, the word legend is loosely thrown around these days. If you're retired, you're a legend. This isn't true. Terry Funk was an absolute true legend. Hardcore pioneer. He was the guy that kind of put ECW on the map back in the day. And he was hardcore before hardcore was cool, as he always used to say. So, yeah, we had that passing, and unfortunately,
I saw
Bray Wyatt.
I saw before you moved to Bray Wyatt. I saw because just every now and then, after somebody passes up with a lot of their stuff, pictures or streams of their stuff on Instagram, and I know a lot of people were introduced to Terry Funk that weren't into wrestling necessarily when he was in WWF and he was Chainsaw Charlie. But I will say one of his best lines to me, and I knew him before that, but one of his best lines to me was when he was Chainsaw Charlie and he told Mick Foley, because I saw that on Instagram this morning, if I had a head like yours, I'd have it circumcised. That would have me rolling.
Yeah, it's a lot better than you yellow egg-sucking dog.
Oh, but I will let you continue on that. I had to share that one because I saw it.
I will say for anyone that isn't very familiar with, Chainsaw Charlie or Terry Funk beyond Chainsaw Charlie, look up his 1990 work with Ric Flair at WCW. That was a great angle them two did. Starting the Clash of Champions, Flair was actually a face for one of the few times in his earlier career, or I guess that was mid-career maybe. Yeah. But he put the old pile driver on Flair through the table before table spots were, a thing. Like, I just thought he killed him. As a kid, I remember like, oh shit, he just killed this guy. He's done. I felt sympathy for Ric Flair, and I hated him before that. So, and them two has a string of really good matches. Funk was really good at one-offs here and there back then, and he had some decent work in WCW in the final days of WCW. To be honest, he had some good matches there, more in the hardcore range. Then moving on, fortunately, Bray Wyatt, 36 years young, way before his time. That's a very tragic passing. I haven't seen anything where anyone says anything negative about this guy. Everyone's like, what a delight he was backstage. Like, literally, Vince McMahon was the only person that didn't like him. And it was because he didn't mind telling him, hey, your ideas are shit. Because, let's face it, Vince's ideas the last few years were shit.
Fair, but I'll say this too: if you're not into all the supernatural stuff in your wrestling because you want it more
realistic, he got a little out there.
Then Bray's stuff wasn't for you either. However, from a in the ring perspective, he wasn't bad in the ring especially for his size. He was very he had a niche crowd and he played to them very well. And he was very well liked in his crowd, but just the backstage stuff, I think, is more of what makes you think, hey, this was actually a really good guy. And
I keep reading where everybody says they sought him out. Like, he was one of the people, like, the few outcasts that didn't, wasn't very social. He would seek them out and go try to make them feel welcomed and things. So that's the type of thing that you keep reading about as
he's a legacy family, right?
Oh, God, yes.
Like Jack Mulligan.
The Wyndhams, the Rotundas. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about Hall of Fame families there. So heart goes out to them. I will say SmackDown was pretty decent last night. You had John Cena return, and I am not a John Cena fan by no stretch. But I will say the man got a pop. He seems appreciative of his spot now, so to speak. But he did say he would be here for months because we talked about the actors strike and whatnot. So I guess he's got nothing else to do but wrestle now with his bald spot. So he's going to host Payback tonight, which is a Saturday premium live event. So he is hosting that.
But every time we bring him up, and you always say you're not a fan of it, I'm not either, and I know Big Rob's probably not either. But you got to give the dude the biggest props in the world for all the stuff that he does outside.
Oh yeah,
outside all the. Not just all the media appearance and stuff, but all the stuff he does. I mean, like he is all over. Actually, I watched an interview with him the other day. I saw it on Instagram. There was somebody asked us, so what do you what's your favorite meal? And he said, this is back when he was dating Nikki Bell. He said, well, if Nikki would stand up, he said, we can't show you that. So like it's like he had a personality where he could be likable no matter what setting he was in, and would do, try to make friends with whoever. But I will say his new movie Vacation Friends 2 is on Hulu. I got to watch that one because the first one was hilarious.
So he's back for the foreseeable future. It's not a one-off. So I'm kind of curious who they put him in a program with. I've heard a few things. One of them made no sense to me was Cody Rhodes. I don't see. I see some marquee in that, but as far as there's no reason for it unless you're going to turn John heel. Which I will say, if John's going to return for months, I'd like to see him as a heel. Now be the time. He's not your number one. He's not your number one merchandise seller anymore because right now, L.A. Knight is but he's done beat out Roman, so to speak. But if he was going to be a heel, I'd put him on Raw because you already got Roman as the number one heel on SmackDown. You're not going to top that, even if he is only there every fucking month. So I will say Jimmy returned last night, and Jimmy's got new theme music.
Huh.
But it was kind of hit and miss. It's like he come out at the beginning, and during it, he interrupted John Cena. So you're like, okay, well, they're going to push him as the number one guy now. He gets smashed at the very beginning. Then he goes at the end. He almost gets into it with AJ Styles, and Solo has to save him. And then Solo tells him, hey, you're not out of Bloodline. We tell you you're out of Bloodline. And he gets up and pretty much tells him, none of y'all tell me what to do anymore. And he leaves. Then he makes a save at the end for Solo, who's getting thrashed pretty good by AJ. So there's a lot of questions, but it's like, okay, I'd like to see y'all do something with Jimmy. Because, he's a credible guy. He's a good talent, but I don't want to see this where he's having to lean and getting squashed here and there. I don't know. I don't really want to see him as the cowardly heel, so to speak, as leaning on the bloodline or on alliances.
And the Bloodline's still probably one of the best stories they got going.
Oh, yeah.
It's also still, it's getting to a little bit too where it's a little too confusing to keep up with who's where. Just
if Roman's not going to be consistent there, it's going to be hard to keep it going. It's got a lot of leg and it's got room to grow still. You could do another 2 years of Bloodline possibly, at least a year. But Roman has to be more consistent in his appearance, especially now that it's basically just him, Solo, and Paul. And that's enough. You don't need much more beyond that. But you got to be consistent. You can't show up every 3-4 weeks.
And to build for the future, they've got to look at some other stuff. Like they have got to quit downplaying LA Knight and just they've been pushing him a little bit the last few weeks, but they've been pushing him down so hard before that. It's like, dude, he has organically gotten over. Just let this dude go. Just
him and Miz had a great segment last night. I will say,
I have seen that one.
It really did look like Miz was trying to bury him a little bit, and you could tell that Knight got flustered a time or two. He's still getting comfortable in his own shoes, so to speak, even 20 years later. But they had a great segment back and forth. He got tongue-tied, I guess, was what I'm looking for once or twice. But then he still come off very good. He almost had that I wined and dined with kings and queens, slept in alley and ate pork and beans promo there for a minute. Because he tells you about the struggles of
until he got stuck on the paycheck place. When he got stuck on that, that's where it messed him up.
I was like, because I'm pulling for LA, and I'm like, oh dog, you can't. This is not the place to do this. This is your shine moment. You need this. This is not your place to do this. So that part there was like, oh, but WWE wise is where we're at. And I'm not gonna hit on AEW too much, but what about the drama?
Oh, we're good because so let's pause right there and come right back to it. Because the only thing I have for a Geek Week update, because I have been out of town so much lately, is I did buy these Transformer cassettes, these TFCon exclusives. And I told you about this hassle. So they're the scale of an actual cassette tape. They look like blaster tape. They come in this special packaging. So I bought these, and they were so expensive to get because they were only offered as a exclusive for 2 different Transformer cons. No word that they were going to come out in regular releases. So I bought these 2. I ended up paying one of them. I paid just a little over retail price from that, and then the other I paid almost double the retail price to get it, just to have them. And I was like, as soon as I get them to the house, the day I got the second one, because I wasn't going to open them, so I got both of them. The day I got the second one, I happened to look on the internet, and they were having regular releases of them at less than the original retail price of the specials. Now there's some stuff missing from these specials that you don't get, but
Yeah.
but these exclusives are still selling for like even more than what I paid for it already. I mean, they're selling for over $200, and they started at like a $99 retail value. So I'm like, well, I'm just gonna have to keep these two in the box and and buy the regular releases to open, because I might have to resell these later, because they're nice looking, but they're expensive. I was just pissed after finding out. I was like, really? After the day after I get the second one to arrive here, you folks do this to me?
Monsters Hunt for a Bargain knows no boundaries, people.
No, it doesn't. Now, that was all of my Geek Week, so we can spend the rest of the time on AEW, because I know there's a lot there to unpack.
What a fucking train wreck that place is right now. Holy shit. And I'm an AEW fan. Like, me and you went back and forth about this several times, Monster, because you're not so much. And I've been with them since day one. And I see so much greatness there and potential. But fuck, there's so much self-destruction there as well.
There's certain segments I like, certain people I like. There's a lot of others that everybody says, oh, they've got all this potential to do this. I'm like, I don't see it, just because it doesn't stand out to me the few times I've watched those people. Like, and I'll throw it out there now, like somebody like an Orange Cassidy. I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see the potential that everybody talks about, and the fact that they push him on every episode and give him a belt, and he's like, I'm gonna hold my belt. I'm like, dude, you don't sound imposing at all.
Well, he doesn't ever talk. This last week's like the first time I remember hearing him really talk, other than going, whatever. So it's things like this. I don't know. I'm not a very big. I enjoy the character. The character is enjoyable. In the spot he's in, not so much, because they're pushing him as a top guy, and he's like literally they got a pay-per-view tomorrow, which is fucking baffling to me. Why you'd have 2 Sunday pay-per-views back to back in a world where pay-per-view is almost extinct anyways. But I don't see where that's smart for your company. But
everybody makes fun of a Cena for 5 moves of doom. I'm like, that's Orange Cassidy's got like 3 moves of doom.
He's got the pockets, the little shin kicks, and then the orange punch.
Yeah,
which is a stolen Superman punch.
I don't know. I just don't see it. But anyway, go ahead. Yeah, because the pay-per-views, too many back to back.
Yeah, he faces John Moxley tomorrow, and their pay-per-views are like $49 a piece. I mean, I'm a fan, and it's got to be a mega show for me to want to go into. And I would have almost probably went in for the Wembley show, because my hat's off to them. I mean, you put 80,000 asses in the seats, you've done something. That's major.
So let's talk about that real quick before we go ahead. So I've been seeing that everywhere where Tony Khan, and I guess this is one of my problems with AEW, is Tony Khan will make it not just about what their product is and what it does. He's got to try to show off that he's better, or that he's done something that somebody else hasn't. Like, so they said he came out and said, oh, we had 91,000 people here. And then they came back and said, well, yeah, but you only sold 81,000 tickets. The other 10,000 were staff working there, ticket takers, session stand workers, security, and including any free giveaway tickets you gave. So maybe you get a little bit more than 81,000. Maybe you get close to 82. Maybe. That's actually seat-taking people. But he keeps coming on and saying, oh, we're the biggest wrestling show ever, and wrestling's been around for 100 years. Okay. Did you make more money than any other wrestling show? Yes, because you sold 81,000 tickets. But the tickets cost more nowadays. So you can't really rest on that, the money. So if it's comparable, maybe there's something in the past. But then everybody keeps talking about, okay, you're the biggest amount of people in the seats ever. However, everybody looks back at WrestleMania 32 and acts like it didn't happen, which, yes, was the 101,000 people in seats a lie? Yes, because they always inflate their numbers. Was it really what they're saying now, which back then, and even up until this show, even some of your reporters like a Dave Meltzer, who I hesitate to even call a reporter because he is so biased. He is very biased, but he's like, all the way up until like the last year, he's like, oh, no. They really only sold about 90,000 tickets. Okay, that's fair, because you just said 10,000 here.
Well, was it even that much? I didn't think it was that much. I mean, I know they were touting that right there, but I thought when the true numbers come out, it was somewhere around 78,000. So because this was the biggest gate as far as this Wembley. Yeah, this is the biggest gate up until
absolutely. And
Philadelphia is supposed to be 90, because WWE is touting what 90,000 people, I think, for WrestleMania in Philadelphia,
something like that.
But is that split between the two nights, or is that 90,000 each night?
I don't know. That's a good question. But I think on this, what I've seen different reports, because I started looking into that WrestleMania one. So one of the local fire department reports like 79,000 head count there. I'm like, okay, there's no way they lied about 79,000 to 101,000, and they're including, and you see a bunch of stuff that they exclude from that fire department report, like the workers are in there excluded, all this is excluded, free tickets weren't included in that.
Yeah.
So they were probably around the same number of this 81,000, but there's multiple sites that give you multiple numbers. So they're somewhere between 80 and 85, and this show was just as big. But instead of Tony saying, this is the biggest show we've ever done, what I got aggravated with, this is the biggest show that's ever been done in wrestling. Dude, don't go there, because now you're just bringing the competition into it.
Two things I'll say about that right there. One, every promoter papers their events or inflates their numbers. So that's neither here nor there. But the major thing to me, the major takeaway to me, okay, you just done 81,000 people there. Whether you papered it, you sold it, whatever. That's something incredible. But you've done that overseas in London, where the Jaguars sell out events over there. Let's be honest, the Jaguars don't sell out in their home fucking town.
Ooh,
no matter who's coming to town.
You reminded me of something else when you said that. I'll get to it in a minute, though.
And so, okay, you done that. So hats off. That's good. That's a good gate. Respect. But then you go to Chicago, and have you seen pictures of the arena from Dynamite?
Yeah.
You couldn't fucking sell out Chicago without CM Punk being there.
Dude,
it was other part of that train wreck, but that's a later conversation.
Most of their domestic shows, they can't even sell enough tickets. I've seen. Okay, so I live in an area where they come and they have some domestic shows a lot of times. You will find that they can't even sell enough tickets that they will start selling tickets. If you go to certain restaurants and you buy this many platters or this many people go and you spend this much money, they give you free tickets to the show.
But have you seen what they want for their tickets? I didn't realize.
I tried to go to one just to go. And
but all the wrestling tickets are ridiculous now, and it's crazy to think this too. Because I was going to go to Monday Night Raw when it was in Atlanta, because I was like, shit, Monday Night Raw in Atlanta, Cody Rhodes, I got to go to this. And dude, where we used to sit, ringside, at a reasonable rate, it was like $350 a ticket.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? This isn't a pay-per-view. We paid that for WrestleMania tickets in Atlanta. Less than that, actually. And when we're very, very close.
Part of that's the inflation after the pandemic and stuff, and part of it's just them trying to make money back because they couldn't do that for so long. Because, I went to the Starcade they had in Cincinnati a few years ago, right before the pandemic started. I was on second row. I had entryway seats. We were the last two seats by the entryway where they came out. Second row. I paid $200 for both me and the kid to go. Now you try to buy those, and it's like $400 for those. I'm like, no.
Well, I get it. They don't do 300 shows a year anymore. They're down to, I think basically what they do is a Super Saturday Night main event, and then they do your TVs. That's what I understand their lives to be now. They do what's called Saturday Night's main event, and then Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. So, but I mean, come on. That's ridiculous for the price. And even AEW, we were going to go to the one in Duluth, and they were a little more reasonable, but it was kind of, I won't say nosebleeds, but it's a little better than midsection, and they were $100 a piece.
And have you noticed how on the show when they talk about how big they are and stuff in their attendance, if you notice the camera never pans to certain areas? Because when people take pictures,
blacked out.
People take pictures in the arena, and then they show how little the arena is actually filled out. It's like, it's great that you sold 81,000 tickets and made all this money over there, but you're not selling out over here. And this is your home base where you are all the time. So there's another problem.
You should be focused on selling it. When you're not selling out arenas that are typically 18,000 people, you need to be consistently worried about that 15 to 18,000 people versus the 81 over the pond.
Well, and they're always talking about their ratings and the key demo and stuff. And you go back and look, and they have the same consistent audience amount every week. It's not growing any. It's
850,000 people a week.
Yeah, it's pretty stagnant. It hasn't grown in a while. But
I think they've got too many shows, honestly. If you were going to do a Wednesday and a Saturday show, you don't need the Friday show. I watched it last night's the first time I've watched Rampage in, I don't know, 2 months probably. And it just seemed like a Sunday Night Heat show, very much. Yeah. There was little going on. You got your lower tier talent, your up and coming guys that should have by now be up and came. because they've been with AEW since day one. I don't know. It wasn't a very impressive show. I was like, and your legacy talent that they have there, they've always done really good at showcasing them. They are just jobbing the fuck out of the Hardys. Like, they brought poor Jeff back just to be a fucking jobber. He is the Brooklyn Brawler at this point. Like, I want to see him in a little tore shirt with a Yankees cap. Am I wrong? Tell me when I'm telling lies, as CM Punk says.
Speaking of him, I know that you want to get there to that part of it too.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The fucking just shit show with him over there in London, where everybody's having to do damage control. And I'm wrong, Jungle Boy or Jack Perry, whatever you want to call him. I think maybe he's a little too big for his britches. He thinks that he's when they mistakenly started calling him a pillar a few months back, I think he started believing his press. And I get being a heel, but I mean, first of all, okay, I'll say we're both of them wrong. You don't piss in the face of a veteran that has been there on the grandest stage of them all, main eventing WrestleManias. And when they give you some sound advice, like, hey, stupid, you don't got to go out there with real glass mutilating your dumb ass. Use the fucking gimmick. Use the gimmicked up glass and protect yourself. It's illusions. It's entertainment. Sports and entertainment at that. So use that. So why would you just piss in his face? You go, hey, I use real glass any fucking way, and then hard shoulder him. I mean, that's where he's in the wrong. Tony Khan should have got on his ass.
So he did it there, but let's go back even further when the whole thing started, because it's come out in recent weeks or recent days, I should say, I guess. But the whole thing with CM Punk was, yes, he's the one who went and told him, but it's because everybody else says it. A lot of other veterans and people who have been around the business had already told him, don't use real glass for this. And he ignored them. So then finally they went to, because apparently that Saturday night show is Punk's or whatever. It's like, and I don't understand this, why they treat him like he's in charge of it and everybody's got to bow down to him. That's a whole different issue too.
That's some of the problem.
But apparently Jim Ross had told him not to do this. I heard a couple other names that had been around for a long time said, do not do that. And he still was going to do it. So then finally somebody went and told Punk, said, man, maybe you should say something to him, which I don't understand that, but that's what started the whole thing altogether. I'm like,
well, for a long time, Punk was the voice of the voiceless. So I think maybe they thought maybe he could identify with a guy was seemingly struggling and fighting against the grain in WWE. So maybe he would listen to him. I don't know.
And I get that, okay, he's probably, first of all, I would have been in the same position as him on some things like, okay, Punk, you're not really my boss. Why would I listen to you? And then later on, if you want to throw shade at him and stuff, why would you do that on live TV or whatever? But at the same time, Jack Perry should have had enough sense to say, okay, if Jim Ross and some of these other guys are telling me this, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe it's dumb.
You're talking about a kid that's been in the business, 6 years?
Yeah, now that I'm thinking of it, some of the other names is apparently Arn Anderson says something to him, Jim Ross says something to him. I'm like, all right,
those are legends.
If you don't want to listen to Punk, listen to one of these guys.
Yeah, they've put the asses in seats. They've drawn the money. They've been in the business. They've seen it all. And they've seen the effect that these non-gimmicked things do to people like Mick Foley and Terry Funk.
Yeah.
So why would you not listen to them? And then the hard shoulder, the guy, I mean, that's like junior high shit. Tony Khan really needs to get a hold of his locker room or put someone in fucking place that will get a hold of his locker room.
Part of the problem there, though, too, is that, and like I said earlier, Gary's always wrong until he's right. I told you when Punk joined him, not a good thing for him, because I saw when he was in WWE, I always felt like he believed his own hype. He thought he was just that good. They couldn't do without him. And I hate to tell him, but he's been gone for a long time from there. They do just fine without
7 years.
Yeah.
And I will say, I'll be the first to admit, 2 years ago when they signed Punk, I was pumped. I was hyped. And I'm still a fan of the character, the on-screen character of Punk. I know he puts on a great match. It's a good promo. Typically his programs turn out enjoyable. I mean, the on-screen guy, I'm a fan of. Phil, not so much. He is a locker room cancer. It's apparent at this point. Because everywhere he goes, there's some shit. He's got his niche of people that are his clique, so to speak. And
absolutely,
he's good with those people. But if you're beyond his clique of people, it's some drama back and forth, way too damn much. He's not worth the locker room side of the ratings because he's not putting the ratings there anymore either.
He is the modern day D-Generation X Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, very much. He's a 96,
you don't fit in his group.
Shawn Michaels.
You're done.
Yeah, very very much. I'll say that they're both kind of in the wrong. Well, they're both very much in the wrong. And I will say that Samoa Joe is being commended as trying to be a locker room leader there. Like he had to fucking pretty much put the show back on the rails because Punk was going to fucking quit and not go out for the match, and he got him calmed down enough to have the match. And then after the match, apparently there was he lunged at Tony Khan quitting, and Samoa Joe had to defuse the situation. So Samoa Joe's trying to, I think Samoa Joe sees that they have something there that could be special if it's managed properly. And then, you got the supposed rumors of him and Miro, whether that was or wasn't almost a fight. I've seen like multiple accounts where supposedly it was just them two joshing around, and then the multiple accounts where no, they wasn't joshing around at all. And I don't think Miro would be somebody Phil wants to fuck with.
That's a big old boy. The
Redeemer would fuck his day up. He would, as the Sheik says, humble him.
But as much as we talked about them because they get the most press on it, it's not just them. It's like everybody backstage there is in chaos and fighting and arguing. You can't go to certain shows. You're banned from coming to this show because I don't like how you talk to me. And
you can't be on the Saturday night show because it's punks. Well, you can't be on the Wednesday night show because it's the elites. And it's sad because like that little bit of drama just overshadowed the fact that they just put 80,000 people into an arena and had a really great card. I mean, from what I understand, I seen highlights. I didn't get to watch it live. Like I said, because I wasn't dropping $60 because the card had kind of dropped from what it should have been initially due to injuries and things of this nature. So I seen highlights, but what I seen looked really great. It seemed like a great show. And instead of us talking about what a great show it was, we're talking about fucking CM Punk and Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't be.
Yeah, or anybody else back there, but it's just amazing that they've got too much going on, but somebody's got to step in and take over and actually be in charge. That's part of the problem.
I've heard mixed reports on JR because JR has done that position in a much more hostile environment with more alpha males and the attitude there of the WWE. So he could do it. If anyone could do it, Jim Ross could do it.
He could do it, but he'd have to have the backing. So if he says something back then,
does he want to do it? Because I've heard reports where he hadn't been offered the role. Then I've heard other reports that supposedly he has been offered it and he turned it down because he didn't want to deal with it. But he is just now getting cancer free too. So maybe now he would be more in tune to want to do it.
The problem with him,
they need to do it.
The problem with him doing that though is look at this. In WWE, the final voice and everything was Vince McMahon for years. So when Jim Ross was in that role, if Jim Ross told you don't do this or do this, he had the full backing of Vince McMahon to agree or disagree. And if Vince agreed, which he did majority of the time, you guys better do it. You going to get that with Tony Khan?
Probably not.
So is that position even going to work?
The only other thing I see out of this is, are they shooting on us? And is this all shit that's being purposely leaked to set up a Tony Khan as a Vince McMahon, Mr. McMahon, Mr. Khan?
Could be, but I will say
legs. I will say it's got legs. I can't see the little weasel myself as a menacing boss, but maybe there's something there we don't see.
And we've been going for a while, so we got to get to the next section of the nerd out soon. But one last thing I do want to share, since you brought that up and you mentioned the Jacksonville Jaguars, did you see that WWE made a championship title belt that you could purchase on their site for every NFL team?
I have.
And in 2 days, and you didn't buy the Atlanta one yet, huh?
My wife was not as receptive as I was at this idea.
They're like $500 too. But did you see that 2 days later, the Jacksonville Jaguar one will pull down?
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. Tony Khan and the Khan family told them they could not sell the Jacksonville Jaguar one because if that one was going to be done, it had to be done by them. So I know they're the owner of the team, but the NFL set this whole deal up, apparently. So they told the NFL, no, we don't agree to it. We are out of it, which I didn't know they had the ability to do that, but they did. So the Jacksonville Jaguar is not available on WWE site after 2 days after it was put out there. So anybody who bought one had a cancellation of their order too.
Wow.
I saw that just yesterday. I was like,
but they would have got a share of the proceeds, I would imagine.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
guess
I
I guess it is a
stuff, but
fuck you to a degree for your parent company to have a WWE logo on it.
hey, so apparently they went full tilt on that one and said, no, pull it down, don't sell it. You can't sell that one. And the NFL agreed to it, and it was pulled down and canceled orders. I was like,
If I
wow,
was
that's
Shad Khan, I would have probably told Tony to go to his room or stand in the corner for 15 minutes. I'm just saying. I'd have stripped his
dude. They ain't never
just great
disciplined that child in
mustache
his
he
life.
has. Yeah, well,
You
Shad
could
has an
tell that by
amazing
the way he
mustache,
does
and I'd have
stuff.
stroked it and said, "Go, boy."
Oh, that was the last thing I had to share on that. So with that, why don't we
Yeah,
move into
that's it.
why don't we move into Nerd Out then? This for anybody who hasn't been here before. This is part of the show where we ask random questions about the topics of the day, respond with no prep time. Please feel free to expand upon our answers or provide your own in the comment section below. We'd love to hear from you. Usually we talk about the subject of the day, but today has been random geekery, so these questions won't be focused on any one topic in question. Most likely, it's probably a random selection of stuff. So, yeah, I will let you guys. Big Rob, you're the
Rob,
guest, so why don't you go
you're our
first?
guest. You go.
I don't know why y'all ever let me go first. Y'all know I never have a question. I never have anything.
Well, you know what? I'll go then, and I'll give you time to prepare yours. How about that?
That's good.
So I was going to ask. Originally, I had two questions today because I was going to ask one. You know, do you think AEW is really going to make it long term, or what do they have to do to right the ship? But we've already talked about that a good bit. So I'm going to go to my backup question, and with so many cancellations and stuff moving out, and being pushed out, or not happening because of the writer and the actor strike and stuff like that, are there any things on the upcoming events or projects that you're actually looking forward to hopefully see the next few months? Because there's not a lot listed out there.
I'll be honest. I'll go. X-Men '97 was probably the closest thing I was looking forward to. Now that's been pushed out to 2024. There's nothing on my radar right now. I mean, we've got Ahsoka. We'll get to finish out with it. Thank God for sports. That's all I can say.
That's kind of where I was at, because when I was looking at like that, and that's what made me think this question was like, I didn't see the X-Men '97 stuff until like last night, and it was supposed to be summer of 2023. It was pushed to fall of 2023 before the strike started. Then I saw last night it's not fully confirmed, but they have not given a release date because it's assumed with all the other stuff for Disney Plus, because they announced everything else has been pushed into 2024 from Marvel Studios, that X-Men '97 was going along with it. Now it's not confirmed, but that's the biggest thing right now. They're saying, yeah, it probably is because everything else moved.
We're recording on September 2nd, so we're entering fall 2023.
Yeah.
And if they hadn't, the hype machine hasn't got behind this yet, I think we're 2024.
That would have been the one I was looking most forward to, and I'll say Ahsoka has been good, and I'm hoping to get to finish seeing it. But honestly, anything else, I'm trying to think of what's coming. Like Aquaman's coming out, yeah, but not a lot of enthusiasm for that, because everything that they've been putting out for DC has just been falling apart because
it's been bombing. Did you see where I guess Flash didn't do as well in streaming as they thought? So now they're saying that there's no way of the Batman Beyond movie.
Oh yeah, that stuff was done already. I knew that. But Blue Beetle.
Well, it was rumored that if it done
have.
well in streaming, that they would still humor it, but I guess it didn't get the hits that they anticipated in the first week.
And it's on HBO Max now. If you haven't watched it, go enjoy your time wasting on that travesty. But I will say, like, Blue Beetle was actually a good movie. It wasn't great, but it was good. But even it has just suffered because they're like, man, nobody cares because it's not part of what you're building anymore. You kind of you didn't push it.
Didn't Gunn announce that the only thing that's going to be before Superman Legacy, which is going to be the first one, is the whatever the animated movie is they're doing? That's the only thing going to be content wise.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that's supposed to be canon for the new verse.
So he did say though that Blue Beetle would be the first character you're introduced to from their universe, but Superman is the first official movie. However, Blue Beetle's not doing well, and I'll say it was actually an enjoyable movie. It was entertaining watching that one. It was fun. But But I mean, at the same time, and it honored the legacy of Blue Beetle. It didn't just ignore Ted Kord and Dan Garrett and everybody who came before Jaime. It actually brought up all those characters. But you know, for them to have that and say, okay, yeah, but it doesn't sell because nobody cares about it. It's going to be the same thing when you get Aquaman. And then Marvel, the only thing they've got is the Marvels, which I actually like. Miss Marvel, the Kamala Khan, the girl who plays her, does a good job. And I actually like the Spectrum, Photon, whatever she's going by in this movie, Monica Rambeau. But nobody likes Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I like
nobody cares for her so much.
Yeah, I like Rambo, and I like the chick that plays her. She does a great job. But that I will say Captain Marvel's politics has played a little too much into me care one way or another. Keep that shit out of your acting. Keep your politics, your religions, and all that shit yourself, and just act. It's what we want as fans. We just act.
Just beat the character, and then you're done. That's all I need.
Yeah, behind the scenes, you can discuss your point of views and life with each other. Other like-minded people, so to speak.
And I will say I do pick up on some moments behind the scenes stuff, like the girl who plays Kamala Khan, like her being a true fangirl and her talking about Marvel stuff that's actually from the comics. I'm like, okay, I can get behind you playing the character because you're into it. But for the most part, just keep all that stuff to yourself and move along. But I'm not looking forward to really anything. I mean, I'll watch some of the stuff, but there's nothing standing out. It's like, okay, I got to go see this immediately.
No, not at all.
Big Rob?
You know, I'm with you guys. X-Men 97 was pretty much it for me. I'm not even sure what else is coming out at this point. You know, I'm really, like, I was, not that it was coming this year, but I was looking forward to Deadpool 3, but who knows what's going to happen to it? You know, 2024 was a hope. Is it even going to hit in 2024 at this point?
There's so many rumors with that movie too. Like every time I turn around, I'm seeing something else about someone else being pulled into the fold of the multiverse aspect of it. Oh. But you don't know how much it was rumor, how much it was true.
Oh, if you don't know that this is Deadpool kills the Fox cinematic universe by now, I mean, that's all this is.
And dude, it suffered even before the writer strike or before the actor strike, because the writer strike actually caused them to stop producing that one, because everything that's written, Ryan Reynolds always does like 4 or 5 takes of everything because he changes the ad lib he does.
Yeah.
And he can't do that with the writer strike going on. You cannot deviate from the script. So they're like, we can't do anything.
Yes, I mean,
why not just stop shooting and then pick back up?
That's what they did.
They did.
Okay.
So, Hassel, Big Rob, whoever wants to go next with their question, I'll let you go.
I actually have one. Finally, it just came to me. So, okay, back onto the wrestling kick. Hypothetically, they strapped the old rocket to LA Knight. How far do you see the megastar making it as far as popularity and success wise, and does he sustain it?
That's a good one. I'm gonna let Big Rob answer first because I got to think about that.
Yeah.
I could see him being a credible world champion, maybe an interim champion for a while. I don't know. My worry about him is it's already so late in life for him, like as an athlete. You know, granted, he still puts on a great show. He's a great athlete, but I just don't know how much longer he can physically go. So, I mean, do I think he's going to be, a Roman Reigns or a John Cena? Probably not. But I can see him, and I hate to say it, but I can see him being like a Sheamus or a Drew McIntyre, that he's a top guy, but he's not the top guy. And I'm a huge LA Knight fan, don't get me wrong, and I don't want to, I'm not trying to badmouth him. I just don't think he's going to, I don't know that he's got that spark that lifts him to the Rock level.
That busts through the glass ceiling is what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know. And maybe he does. Maybe I hope I'm wrong, but that's kind of where I'm at on him.
I think I'll piggyback off Big Rob. I'm in about the same position. I think that he could be a top guy and probably should be one of their top guys, but I think that it's almost like he wants to be the modern day Stone Cold with the Rock's promo skills built into it from the way he presents stuff. However, he's never going to be a Stone Cold that walks out there and beats up everybody in the ring with 30 people in the ring and walks away. He just doesn't have that level of, I guess, macho, for lack of a better term. I just don't think he's quite there, and I don't know if he ever will get there. I think he'll win the title. I think it'll be more than Kofi Mania, where he wins the title and holds it for just a very short period, but I don't think he's going to hold it for a long-term period. I couldn't see that.
Okay.
Big Rob.
That's a fair assessment I'll give you guys. As far as it being long in the tooth, I mean, let's be honest. Seth Rollins and these guys, Finn Balor, these guys that are actually, they're young guys, they're long in the tooth as well as far as being in the business.
Yeah.
They've all been in the business 20-something years at this point. I mean, to me, is all these guys that you still think of as young guys, they're just as damn old as he is and been doing they just hadn't had maybe the hard road, so to speak. So I'm not going to knock him on that right there. I think there's more money with him chasing the belt than actually being a long-term champ. But let's be honest, with Stone Cold, that was always the case.
Yeah.
The money was Stone Cold winning the Rumble, the chase to WrestleMania, getting the belt at Mania, holding it to, at most, SummerSlam, dropping the title, and the chase begins again. I see Knight in that similar fashion. Not just because they're so. He is a throwback to the Attitude Era. I mean, he's not just a carbon copy of Austin and The Rock. He could be their love child without a doubt. But he is something different. I'd like to see his moveset change up a little bit for him to have the sustainability and the longevity going forward. His moveset needs to change up a little bit. I'd like to see maybe a little better finishing sequence, so to speak, to kind of get in there. He's got a pretty good finisher. I mean, I'd like to see something a little better maybe, but just some signature moves up into that I'd like to see shift maybe.
I think they're going to carry his character on long term in the same vein he's in. He probably needs to be less wrestler and more brawler.
Yeah, very much so. Show up, kick ass, leave. One of those deals. I see him as being more than a Sheamus or a Drew McIntyre, a pandemic champion, so to speak. But just not a long-term champion. I see money in him getting the belt. I don't see money in him beating Roman. I don't want to see that. That's Cody's story that needs to be finished. When Roman is dethroned, it needs to be by Cody. But I could definitely see him as a world champion on Raw. And he needs to have a good 4 to 6 month reign. Then start the chase, have some battles and feuds and maybe chase again, and then another credible reign after. I don't want to see a one and done title like I did with Kofi, Big E, some of the guys like Finn Balor. God bless him. It was 7 years ago. They've done nothing with him title wise since then. Look at Shinsuke Nakamura. The man won one of the biggest Royal Rumbles there were, and shits the bed at Mania, and they haven't done nothing with him really since, other than put the NXT title back on him. I feel like he really needs to win tonight to have some credibility. This heel run he's got, which is tremendous, by the way. So I see Knight in that same fashion. He needs to win a big one, maybe around Mania time. Like maybe put the strap on Nakamura right now. Let Nakamura keep it between now and Mania, and then him go for the world title. I can see some money in that.
I think he's not going to be over like a Sammy where it's done as soon as he hits his pinnacle of his thing and it's all done and said with, but he's not going to be a Hogan or a Roman or something like that where he holds the belt forever and stays there, or an Austin.
Let's be honest. There's going to be very few of those ever anymore. You get one in the generation on a lot of this stuff. And how long did it take Roman to get there with the rocket strapped to him before we finally, literally, Sheamus isn't wrong when he said the man had to get leukemia and go away for us to give a shit about him.
That's terrible.
It's terrible to say, but it's true. I mean, as the faculty will say, he's out of line, but he ain't wrong.
You're wrong.
Yeah. Oh,
so that's my take.
Big Rob, that brings us to your questions. You have time to come up with one.
I did, and all this talk of wrestling has kind of thrown something that I've been kind of pondering myself a little bit, and it's not a real deep question, but it is something I'm been thinking about. The legend killer, Randy Orton. He's been out for a while with a back injury. Previously, he has stated that he wanted to wrestle for years and years and years. Do you think will he come back? In your opinion, at what we know now, will he come back? And if he does, will it be will he make any kind of impacts? Not saying title run or anything like that, but will he make any kind of impact at this point, or is he done?
To me, if he came back and you put him on Raw and he could make an impact there with Seth and his second tier title. And yes, it is a second tier title because if Roman had all the other belts, had that you had to give him a third one so he could walk around with 3 just to make him feel good. And Seth got the one that they made out of thin air.
He's got one for every year he was champion. He was officially champion 3 years yesterday.
That's true. But, Seth got the one that they made up out of thin air that didn't existed nowhere. So Randy Orton can make an impact there. If he had a good storyline with the bloodline in between Cody and Roman getting back together, then maybe he can make an impact there. But it's questionable to me if he's coming back, because usually he's had a lot of injuries, but he's usually back and then has another, then back and has another. He's been out a long time with this, so it's kind of like, okay.
The last year he wrestled, they masked a lot of those with tag matches.
Yeah.
Which a lot of big names do. They transition from megastar back into a tag scene to kind of stretch that last year or 2 out that they can stretch. To me, I would only want to see him return is if he's going to be pushed in a top spot as a champion, squeeze another good year out of him. Kind of like with Edge. They really shouldn't be able to Edge's return. The only way, I don't want to see him just show up and have a match occasionally, or just be there as a mouthpiece.
I would be fine with him showing up for just a few months at a time and then going and get somebody who's getting ready, because they got a lot of older people. They're all getting ready to retire. Let him come back and actually be the legend killer. I'm going to come back and retire you. And then trash talking for a couple months, put him out of the pay-per-view. That's their retirement. You could use him in that role because that was his old gimmick, right? So you could possibly do that if he's not going to be there full time.
Well, like Monster said, on Raw as champion, yes. He's not. I don't want to see him beat Roman.
No.
Which Randy has legs to do some. I think Randy could make the transition to a good manager. Aside from the fact that he's massive as fuck, which is not good for managers, but he has that Harley Race type. Harley Race was one of the few former world champions to transition into a good manager, because he still had that good right hand on the outside of the skirt if you got a little too close, and it was believable that he could knock you the fuck out. Because Bobby Heenan, Jim Cornette, unless he used a racket, it's not believable they were putting the heat on you. No. Or even, Paul. Randy, if you got a little too close to him, he could put the old right hand on you. It's believable. But he's always been cerebral enough to where you can see him being the mentor. A Gary Hart type manager is really what I'm looking for, I guess, so to speak. Somebody of this magnitude, and he's a decent mouthpiece. So maybe if you paired him up with a Nakamura, I'd watch that.
Well, since you brought up Paul, what could he do nowadays as a manager? Because he used to hit everybody that big ass cell phone. The cell phone nowadays ain't gonna do no damage.
He's literally walking around with a cell phone like this in a red case.
What would you have to give him to beat people? To hit people with and make it believable now.
I want to see the return of the Macho King scepter. that big one that he just walked, Warrior over the head with to cost him the title to Slaughter. I want to see that.
And do you feel like they were pulling a rib on Paul, making him walk out every week with those 2 belts around his shoulders, looking like he was huffing and puffing and dying on that long walk to the ring?
He was out of breath. He was struggling by ringside.
He was hurting by the time they got there, and he kept adjusting them while he was standing there behind Roman, like, oh my God, get these off of me.
If you get a real title, they're heavy as fuck. Like my Winged Eagle right here, it's a legit. By the time I turned that son of a bitch around all day in Jacksonville at that wrestling convention we went to get Brett to sign it, I was like, fuck. So yeah, I can imagine.
You give up on the replica quick, because I had to hold that dang world heavyweight title, which was heavy. It was about a good 4 or 5 pounds. I had to hold it a whole Monday Night Raw because you were like, hey, man, hold on to this for me for a minute. You never take it back.
The lure of taking it is much better than toting it.
The reality does not match the fantasy.
I needed my Paul Heyman. Thank you, Monster.
Oh, Lord. Rob, did you have anything more to add to the answer there? Or?
No, I'm kind of like you guys on that. I'd love to see him come back and, second tier champion for a little while. But yeah, I don't know if he will or not. But yeah, if he does, I'd love to see something like that, and then maybe evolve into the legend killer that just retires guys, or or just does a run in and does an RKO out of nowhere and fuck up title changes every once in a while.
I just don't want to see him with Riddle again. Nothing is gets a doom for me to give a shit about you like Riddle. Like poor McIntyre right now, he can eat a dick.
Yeah. With that, well, I think we've been here long enough today, so that should bring us to a close. But before we leave, Hassel, tell everybody where they can find us at.
Man, you can find us on the YouTube at the Nerdy Manroom Show. You can find us on our sponsor, Spotlight Media, on the Roku and Fire TV. You can find us on Facebook at Hassel Hutchison via the Nerdy Manroom Show, Instagram, the Nerdy Manroom Show, and Twitter at Nerdy MR Show. And we are also on Blue Sky now, and I apologize. Beyond Nerdy Manroom Show, I'm not sure what the actual code is, but it's it's long. So I had to get that and post that, guys. I apologize.
Look it up through the Geek Network. You can find us through their stuff for Blue Sky.
The Geek Network, they have us covered on that right there. And you can also find us on their website, geek/network.com.
And while you're checking us out, don't forget to go check out our extended Nerdy Manroom family member, Big Rob. You can find him on his channel, Big Rob's House of Entertainment and No Chinese Food.
No Chinese food!
Big Rob, do you want to give a plug for anything you got coming up on there?
No, I'm just kidding. Well, I did want to say that, like you guys, I am also on the Twitter, but it's not Twitter anymore. It's X. Got to remember that. So I don't know why Elon had to change it, but whatever. But
branding.
I did start a TikTok. It's still big _Robs_house on TikTok, and I'm putting a lot of my stories on there now. Just because I get 10 minutes instead of 60 seconds like YouTube Shorts. And as far as my regular show, it's not going anywhere. I'm going back to doing a lot of the old school movie reviews, and I'm starting a series on Canon films. I have a box set that's been sitting begging to be gone through, and so I'm just got to go through it.
I can't wait for you to do Cyborg. I'm going to be honest. I'm ready for that.
I know it's, I'm bummed out. It was not part of the box set, but it's going to get done anyway. I just maybe after the box set gets finished.
And thank you again for coming on this week, Big Rob. We always enjoy having you, and I know you were able to join us, so that was fun and made the conversation much more entertaining. And before we leave, make sure you also go check out our sponsor, These Own Collectibles. You can find them on the internet at theseowncollectibles@gmail.com and on Facebook at These Own Collectibles, or in their store at 305 Main Street, Tifton, Georgia. Visit them for all your nerdy needs, from comics to Legos, trading cards, toys, games, more. Help them support the local artist community by supporting their cause of bringing unity through community. Fandoms unite. And we said we were going to close this show out with a big announcement just because we started with a big announcement. Let's close with a big announcement. So, Hassel?
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it over to you for the big announcement portion.
So, we had a subscriber goal just a little while back, and we met our subscriber goal, and we told you guys that we were going to do this massive giveaway for this beautiful H4 autographed Tom Morgan mask. First of all, I want to give a good shout out to our friend of the show, Willie Alexander, who is currently overseas serving in the military. He actually bequeathed this mask to us to give away some time back. He was one of the OG listeners of the show back when we had nobody but family and friends. So thankfully he believed in us enough back then, so he wanted to make it special when we hit our first goal. So shout out to you, buddy. We love you. But we hit our first goal, and we're moving along pretty damn well afterwards. So we're near getting closer and closer to our second goal. But we got to meet our first. We've told you for some time we were going to do this. We had some things in the works and some things fell through because people get super busy. Hey, celebrities, it happens. So we got the next best thing to a big celebrity. We got Big Rob's House of Entertainment, Scissor Me Daddy-O, and No Chinese Food. He's going to come on board and he's going to give away and announce our winner. So Big Rob, I'll turn it over to you, brother.
Thank you, sir. And yeah, the next best thing to a big celebrity is just big, and that's me. I'm big. I had a question though, because this is a really cool mask and all. When did Tom Morgan play Captain Kirk? Because that's a Captain Kirk mask, right?
I see what you did there. It is a Captain Kirk, but Mr. Tom Morgan actually played Leatherface Jason in Friday the 13th Part 5, and Leatherface in Part 2. So he's only got to pull the triple feet off. So that's pretty damn special.
You notice that when Hassan went through the triple feature, he named Leatherface twice.
I know.
I did.
I was going to call it. I was going to call him out, and I was like, you know what? I got to.
I've only had one cup of coffee, people. Come on. Give me some slack. And we had no house drinks. It's morning, so we're on water.
That's the problem. He only functions when he's half drunk.
He does. And he's 3 weeks sober.
Wow.
Huh. Sobriety, people, it happens.
All right. So for all the horror fans, for all the horror fans, I apologize for bringing up Captain Kirk. That is a really cool Michael Myers mask. The winner of this randomized drawing is a really awesome human being by the name of Craig Seymour. I don't know Craig. Craig seems awesome.
Craig has been an A1 since day one. He literally, he's on every post almost. He interacts with us a great deal. And like I said, it was a random drawing, so it just happened to be someone who's been there from the start, which makes it a little more special for us. So, Craig, you are the winner. We're going to announce it announced here on the show, but it'll also be on the page once the show drops. So, get in touch with me. Give me your address. Send us your Addy, and we'll get it in the mail to your bro partner. And congratulations.
And with that, we're at a close for this week, but make sure you stick around for the end credits. It's a special shout out. Thank you to some of our friends and extended Geek Network family members. You see their details in the credit. Join us here next time for our special guest interview we're lining up. Until then, live nerdy and geek out.